Today we're going to talk about some synonyms. So we're going to focus first on the word honor. So the word honor, worship, is another word for honor, sort of. If you were to look in a thesaurus, which is a book that shows synonyms, what's closely related to and a little bit more distantly related to words, worship and honor, worship is, we'll say, out of 5 stars, worship is a 3. Because you don't worship a person, but you do worship God. At least worship a person doesn't sound right. So you worship God, and you can honor God by worshiping Him, but worship and honor aren't exactly the same thing. Another word is glorify. It's kind of sort of like honor, except for you can glorify a person to an extent. You don't usually say that, but to glorify someone and to honor someone, that was a 4 stars out of 5. For it's quite similar to exalt, to honor someone. I'd say exalt and honor. Exalt is kind of like lift up, make more important than anything else. Or I would say that's 5 out of 5 stars. Clean, to rinse something. Well, when you're rinsing something, you're cleaning it, but when you're cleaning something, rinse isn't always the first word that comes to mind. Rinse is like washing the soap off something, and you do use soap to clean, but the word rinse versus compared to the word clean, that's only about 3 stars out of, no, actually I'd say 2 stars out of 5 for similarity. If you were to be talking about cleaning, it would not be that accurate to say he was rinsing unless you were saying he was cleaning the dishes, so he rinsed them. To disinfect, generally when you clean something, you disinfect. I suppose sometimes cleaning can be dusting, you're not disinfecting in that case. But disinfecting is quite closely related to clean. So I would give that 4 stars out of 5 for similarity. To end. To end is the final word we'll look at, because we're looking at synonyms. Remember, is halt a synonym for end? Yes, quite similar. But halt usually means to stop in the middle of doing something. It can be to halt and stop, but it kind of gives the impression that you might resume what you're doing. You're just temporarily stopping it. So it's not quite the same as end, because end is when something is over, is complete, is not going to happen anymore. So halt, I would give that 3.5 stars out of 5 stars for being close to end. Conclude, to end. Conclude and end are very similar words. To conclude, you might more often use that in speech, like to conclude his speech, but also if you were to insert the word end in that sentence, it would make perfect sense. To end his speech, it just doesn't flow quite as well, but it means pretty much the same thing. So in conclusion, in ending, they're a little bit different, but they're mostly the same. So I would give that 4.5 stars out of 5 for similarity between end and conclude. The final 2 words we'll compare are end and finish. Finish and end both can be synonyms or be nouns and verbs. So you can end across something, you can end something, to end and to finish, but the finish, it can also be a noun, like it's the finish line. I guess the word line is kind of implied. Sometimes we just say the finish when we mean the finish line. So the finish can pretty much be a noun, and the end, that's also a noun. You usually say it like in stories. The end.